called A Year to Fall in Love. It's on Channel 4. It's a documentary series following 20 singletons around the UK. It varies from different ages, different backgrounds. So there's 20 people, men and women, different ages, different sexualities, all sorts. So it follows all of us around for an entire year. So I got involved last March. I got the camera, and then I just handed it back March just gone. So it's been a long process, and obviously I couldn't exactly tell people. So now it's finally out. It's kind of a bit like all systems go kind of thing. But yeah, that's pretty much what it's about. It's basically to show what it's like to date in the 21st century with the big uprise of dating apps, and do they really work, or is it better to meet people the old-fashioned way, like face-to-face, or like on nights out? It's kind of like I haven't met any of the other people on there. I've got no idea who they are, so I'm quite interested to see how they've done it. Obviously I've done it my own way, but I'm not necessarily sure if that's the way everyone else is going to do it. So it's going to be interesting to see, because obviously it's not just me, it's 19 other people, so it's going to be interesting to see everyone's stories come together.
So how did you become aware of the programme, and how did you get involved?
I think it was late 2016, so it was quite a while ago now. I was actually with my friend Georgia at the time, and we were having a few drinks, and I think she applied for First Dates just like as a joke. Everyone's like, oh, I'd go on that. So we both applied, and she actually got a call back and I didn't, and I was a bit like, okay, that's a bit rude. So I didn't think anything of it, and I was actually working at River Island at the time. I wasn't really sure what I was doing with my life, and I then got this call from a UK number, and I was like, hello, who's this? And they said, we have your application from First Dates, because obviously it's under the same thing. We didn't think you were suitable for that show, but we think you might be suitable for this show. Do you have like a few minutes just to talk a bit more? And I was like, I'm literally about to serve a customer. Can you just like hang fire for like 5-10 minutes? So I rang them back, and it was a long process. I had to do like Skype interviews, I had to do phone interviews, I had to there's a lot of processes, so I didn't want to get too hyped up too soon thinking, oh, I'm going to be on TV. It was a slim chance that I was going to be on, but obviously as the stages went on, it was becoming more apparent to me that they'd call me up every now and then and be like, oh, just so you know, you're in the top 50 to be chosen. And I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. Still not thinking like chances of me being picked are pretty slim. So I just carried on, and then it was like, oh, hi, let me just let you know you're in you're one of the 20. And I was a bit like, I'm sorry, what? So it came very real very quickly, and I still didn't really feel comfortable telling people until I signed the contract. And then they actually came over to the island a few months after. They filmed me at my work, which is at the MSPCA, and they filmed a bit, like my main interview bit is at home as well. And then that's it. That's all they filmed of me, and then the rest is literally just down to me. So that's how I got involved, yeah.
And what happened then? So they gave you a camera and basically said go away and film all of your dates?
It was basically it was on an iPhone. So I had two. So I had obviously my phone here, and then I had a separate phone, because they wanted to do it discreetly. So if I was on nights out, or if I was, I don't know, at a bar, it would just look like I was taking a picture of myself, or but if I had a proper big camera, people would be a bit more aware of it. So they wanted to do it as discreetly as possible. But the problem I had was that I got given cards, because obviously if people were in the shop behind me, I had to tell them, like, you might be on Channel 4, is that, and obviously with the Isle of Man and being it so small, I'm surprised a lot of people don't already know that it was happening anyway, because every time I went on a night out or something, I had to give these cards out and be like, shh, don't tell anyone. Yeah, but they basically just said, here's a phone, here's a camera. They were quite vague with it, because obviously they want different stories and different ways to be filmed. So it was kind of just down to me of how I did it. So, and the problem I had was that I didn't really want to let people know what I was doing straight away, because if I was like, oh, do you fancy going for a drink or something? Oh, by the way, I'm filming for a show. It'd be a bit of a red flag, and people are like, are you just wanting to go for a drink with me because you're going on TV? So I kind of wanted to click with people before I'd slip it in and be like, by the way, I'm doing this show. And I got mixed reviews. But that's basically what I had to do for the entire year, yeah.
You said you got some mixed reviews. What were people's responses like when they found that out?
Again, it was very much like, oh, are you just getting to know me because you want someone to talk about on the show? And that wasn't my intention at all. It was very much like, if I was going to do this, it's not like I just agreed to do the show. I did think about it for a very, very long time before I agreed, because obviously it's quite a big decision to make. It's very personal, and it's very much like, here is basically my entire love life and my work as well, and everything about me on a plate. Here you go. So I was very much like, should I do this? Should I not? And my main reason for doing the show is I generally did want to meet someone. So I had to take on board, but obviously it's not just me, it's them as well. Some people were a bit like concerned, because obviously depending on what jobs they didn't really want to be shown, which is fine. I could film around that, and I could say like, oh, do you mind if you could just film me then from your perspective, and I just won't say like your second name, or there's sneaky ways to do it, and I just had to be clever of how I did it basically. But in the long run, I think it worked out okay, yeah.
It sounds pretty stressful, if you don't mind me saying. Is it something you managed to enjoy, or was it hard work?
I did. The only thing I found stressful was, obviously I do have a full-time job. I did have other things going on in my life at the time, and as well as doing that on top of it, it was I found it quite difficult to try and balance the both. I did have my moments where I did think like, oh, should I keep doing this? Or the thing was, it's just like, I go through stages where it's like, oh, I want to meet someone, and then it would be like, actually, I don't want to try too hard, because if you try too hard, that's generally when nothing really happens. And that's when I began to think, am I just going on these dates so I have something to talk about, because I want to give people a chance? But then it's like, if it's not that initial click there, it's kind of just like, am I just doing it? So I did take a couple of steps back during it. So there are like gaps, like a few weeks where I just don't film anything, because I did need a break, and I just wanted to just go back to reality and just be like, oh, I'll focus on my job for now, and I'll pick it up again in a few weeks' time. And they were completely okay with that. It was very much like, it's on my terms, and I had a year, and my goal was, if I found someone, great. If I didn't, then at least I have this all documented, to show that, the different stages of me trying way too hard, me trying not at all. So I think it was just mixed emotions really throughout the entire process.
I obviously don't want to ask you to give away the end results, but were you happy with what resulted from it?
It was very much. It's tricky because it's hard to, obviously, if you follow me on social media anyway, that people will know the end result anyway. But towards the end, I did think like, oh, I'm just going to give up now, kind of thing. It's just, there's not much more I can do. But I'm happy with the way how it ended and how it came to it, because where I first started filming is actually where I ended it. So I started at my friend George's house, very much just on Tinder. And obviously on the Isle of Man, I was on it for like 2 minutes, because I just went through everyone, because there wasn't a lot of people here. And then I actually ended it at George's house again, and obviously the circumstances were different this time, and it was just a nice full circle. It was very nice just to end it where it began, kind of thing.
With regards to what footage is going to be sort of put out on TV, did you have any say in that, or was that sort of someone else who makes those decisions? Or? It
was very much, I did have an input, so it was very much, if I generally didn't really want a particular thing to be on, either for work reasons, for say, I don't know, because obviously it's quite similar to the way I filmed. It's very similar to like a YouTube, so it's like vlogging. So the difference is that I'm obviously in control of my YouTube, and I can edit and put out what I want to say, but I'm not the editor of this show. So it was very much like, I'll send all this footage out, and I wasn't 100% sure of what they're actually going to show, because obviously there's bits that I would have preferred not to maybe be in it. But they were really cool with it, and they were very much like, oh no, if you really don't want that on, then that's fine. And to be honest, I think wasn't that many. I had to make sure I could always rewatch it anyway, and if I wasn't happy with it, then I would just say like, just put that in. But they basically just told me that as long as you're happy with what you film, you can't be disappointed with what they decide to show, and that was the kind of the input that I had. So I think it's going to be fine. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
And do you get the opportunity to see the episodes before they go on air, or is it going to be a surprise to you as well, to an extent?
I've seen. Well, there's 2 adverts on now. I was away. I was actually in Bulgaria, and obviously they don't have Channel 4 over there. So I was actually just chilling, enjoying a strawberry daiquiri, and then I got a message saying, "Oh, I've just seen you on TV," and I was a bit like, "Oh, okay, so the advert's out then, I'm guessing." And then I tried to like look online, and there was a few, and I think there's me in the car with my friend Erin, and then there's one with me with just a face mask on in bed, and I was just like, that's about sums me up really. So I've seen some, but I haven't seen all. So I haven't really seen the end footage because I obviously had to give the phone back last March. So since March, I haven't, and obviously time goes by, I don't really remember. I know vaguely what's going to be on it, but I'm sure there'll be a few little surprises on the way that I'm going to be like, oh, okay, that's in there. Great.
And I must ask, of course, for people who perhaps want to tune in and see it, when's it going to be broadcast? Where can people find it?
So it's going to be on Channel 4 for an hour. It's going to be an hour special on June the 19th. That will basically introduce all of the 20 singletons. I'm briefly in that will show my interview and introducing me. And then I believe there's 6 or 7 episodes on all 4. So it's mainly online, and that's where I'm mainly based.